Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with another video. Want to give you guys a heads up on a lot of great Steam sales and deals running right now. Not going to go over everything, but there's a couple new publisher sales, a franchise sale, and that franchise has a new game coming out in just a little over a week, I believe, and a couple of other deals of note that we'll get to in a little bit. But right off the top, we have the THQ Nordic publisher sale. THQ Nordic, you know, not everything they drop is great, but they do have a lot of cool titles, and they're dropping a lot of games, so it's like, you know, you're bound to drop a banger every now and again. You know, they've got games that didn't do all too well, like the new Alone in the Dark, unfortunately, was a commercial flop, but you know, there are a lot of titles on sale. That Alone in the Dark game is on sale. It's 50% off for $29.99. You have Outcast: The New Beginning, another game that, if you told me there was going to be a new Outcast, I would be like, yo, well, what are we doing here? But that's 50% off for $29.99, and that game was received fairly well. So, you know, very positive reception on Steam. But only 518 reviews. Trine 5, A Clockwork Conspiracy, 34% off for $19.79. That's on sale. You've got Wreckfest, 60% off for $11.99. Biomutant is 75% off for $9.99. This game's got a mixed reception on Steam. This is a game that I went into with immensely high expectations. I don't know why. It's just when I saw gameplay out of this game initially, and it was done by this new studio, Experiment 101, which had a lot of talented developers that had worked on other games, I was like, you know what, this might be an awesome open world title. And it was a little bit of a disappointment, to say the least. The narration in this game is an abomination, but I will say, the open world is incredibly vibrant and incredibly colorful, and some of the combat is enjoyable. I think for $9.99, it's actually not a bad pickup. It's just, go into it expecting something relatively mediocre, and you'll be happy with it. I know these days, like, fitting in a mediocre game to play might not be, like, the ideal route to go, but for $9.99, I do think it's a fairly good pickup, and, you know, I'd give it a shout. Personally speaking, I'd give it a shout at that price point. Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed is $13.19. That was recently in a humble choice. Elix 2, 67% off for $16.49. Darksiders Genesis, 75% off for $7.49. SpongeBob SquarePants The Cosmic Shake, $15.99. That recently got a pretty notable update as well. You've got titles like Elix 1, $7.49. Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning is $9.99. I really like Kingdoms of Amalur. I know it's not a game that everybody absolutely loved, but I thought from a combat standpoint it was fairly enjoyable. Narratively, didn't really do anything for me, but for $9.99, not a bad pickup there. Destroy All Humans is $2.99. I think that's a pretty good pickup. Definitely worthwhile at that price point, like $3 for that. Damn good. Desperado, $9.99. That was done by Mimimi Games, who Mimimi Games have literally dropped like 3 games that have an overwhelmingly positive reception or a very good reception on Steam, and yet just because of the gaming landscape, they have been they've shut down as well, which is just depressing. They also did Shadow Gambit, The Cursed Crew, and Shadow Tactics Blades of the Shogun. Shadow Tactics has overwhelmingly positive, and Shadow Gambit, very positive. So not quite 3 for 3, but still pretty damn good as far as consistency. But really, just the problem in the larger gaming world. Darksiders 2, those are on sale. Those are good games. I remember people often, when Darksiders 1 came out, they would say, oh, it's Legend of Zelda combined with God of War, which I can see why that comparison is made. However, when you talk about Darksiders and you're linking it to games like Legends of Zelda and God of War, it's gonna set people up for disappointment. It is comfortably a threshold below those games. It's still a good game, and I would give it a look. You know, visually shows its age, but still worthwhile to check out, and would give that a recommendation. So, a lot of good deals available, definitely some stuff to check out. It's just, with picking up THQ Nordic games, expect something that's more at the mid-level, you know, your 7 out of 10 level games, but those games sometimes resonate with a lot of people more so than, you know, the 9 out of 10s or 10 out of 10. Sometimes those are the games that have, you know, kind of like a soul to it, if that makes any sense. But nevertheless, there you go with that. I should also say, THQ Nordic going to be publishing Disney's Epic Mickey in September. Very excited about that. Not excited about the $60 price tag. That's a little too much, I gotta be real, but excited about that release. But that $60 price tag is a little bit, whoa, buddy, what are we doing here? But there you go with that. Cat Quest franchise sale also running right now ahead of the release of Cat Quest 3, which I feel like more and more people are getting excited about that, which is awesome to see. Cat Quest is a super charming RPG series that is super accessible. Like, anybody can really get into it and play it. Cat Quest 1, $3.24. Cat Quest 2, $3.74. Both of those deals, I would say, are quite good. And you can pick up the Cat Quest trilogy for $20.72, given that, you know, the large portion of the value of that trilogy is carried by Cat Quest 3. I would say that is a decent pickup. They have the Cat Quest 1 and 2 bundle for $6.29. So that's not even like that much of a discount. It's 69 cents off versus buying the games individually. So, you know, nothing too crazy there. Cat Quest is one of those franchises that if you're looking for a game that you could just kick back, not think of it too seriously, but you want something a little bit more on the charming and cute side, Cat Quest will offer you exactly that. And if you have a kid that's not super into video games, you know, put them on Cat Quest if you want them to get into video games. I don't know if that's what parents want to do. Maybe that's why I'm not a parent. But, you know, that's something. And, you know, or if you have a significant other that's not super into video games, games like Cat Quest, games like Stray, they're easy sells to, you know, act as a gateway title for video games. You know, I feel like they're really good at that, and they're well-designed games all in all. There is a Cube Games publisher sale as well. Cube Games published Sword and Fairy, which is actually a relatively underrated RPG series that's been running for a while. I mean, Sword and Fairy is up to game number 7, and that is available in English translation, and that's 50% off for $14.99. I think that's a pretty good deal. Visually, that game is fantastic. Has some translation issues and things of that nature, but, you know, it is what it is. 15 bucks, not a bad price on that. And then a couple of other standalone deals I do want to mention. Enshrouded is 20% off for $23.99. Obviously not my cup of tea. I've talked about survival games and base building games and everything like that. It's just not a genre that I'm super into, but I know a lot of people that are into these games, and Enshrouded was fairly well received, still in early access, so keep that in mind. Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy is 80% off for $11.99. I go to bat for this game all the time. I think it's absolutely fantastic. You know, from a gameplay standpoint, I get that people have its issues, especially just, you know, primarily playing as Star-Lord. I know the utilization of the other Guardians maybe not ideal. I don't have an attachment towards the Guardians of the Galaxy. This game was really my first exposure to them, and really enjoyed it. From a narrative standpoint, thought it was good. Soundtrack I thought was fairly good. Visuals were solid. Steam Deck verified as well, so that's great. And $11.99, not a bad pickup there. Relatively lengthy as well. For a single-player game like this, it's like, you know, a single-player linear game like this, like 15 hours. Not too bad whatsoever. And lastly, South Park: The Stick of Truth is $7.49. Talked about this game ad nauseum, but it's really good, and that's coming from somebody that's not a South Park fan whatsoever. I just think this is a well-designed RPG, and it kind of makes it even more comical. Like, it's a funny game, obviously, it's South Park, but then you're just like, wait a second, why is there, like, a mechanically competent game here as well? Which is, honestly hilarious, if you really think about it. Like, a South Park game that's a mechanically well-made RPG. It's not super lengthy whatsoever, but a game like this doesn't need to be a 40-hour epic. That would be more of a detriment to the game than anything. Gets in, tells its story, gets out, does it fairly well. But that is going to do it for me again. THQ Nordic franchise sale, Cat Quest franchise sale, Cube Game sale as well, and a lot of other deals available. Links to all of these in the description box below. That's going to do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out. Hey, what's going on, guys? Mush here again. Hope you enjoyed the video. As you guys might know, YouTube's notification system is sometimes a little bit wonky, even if you're subscribed to the channel. Maybe you're not abundantly aware that I uploaded a video. To remedy that situation, make sure you hit the bell notification button. This way, whenever I upload a new video, and I try to upload as consistently as possible, you will be notified directly of the upload, and you can watch it as soon as it goes live. I would really appreciate it if you guys hit that button so you can stay up to date with all of the content I'm posting. But as always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.